Good morning. Welcome to this morning's workshop, AI Beyond the Inbox. Unlock the value beyond your keyboard. And thank you to our speaker, Mollie Barnett, AI consultant and founder of My AI Workshop, for presenting for the SBDC. My name is Leslie of the Stony Brook Small Business Development Center, and we're joined this morning by a few of our business advisors and admin staffers as well. For those of you who are not familiar with our services, the Small Business Development Center offers free, confidential, ongoing business counseling for a variety of businesses, startups, and established businesses as well. To make an appointment, call 631-632-9837, and I'll put the contact info into the chat as well. And speaking of the chat, please place your questions into the chat, and our speaker will field them as we go along. And now, let's turn this presentation over to Mollie Barnett. Thank you.
Well, before Mollie, let me be the introduction. I'm Willa Smith. I'm a senior business advisor here at the Small Business Development Center. And it's my pleasure to introduce Mollie Barnett, who I met out in networking, which everyone does and everyone should do, to increase your exposure in the small business community. Mollie is the founder of State and Signal and My AI Workshop. She's a certified blue ocean strategist and AI business architect with over 20 years of experience helping companies find untapped opportunities and scale with clarity. She's known for making AI practical, approachable, and immediately useful for small businesses, and is a member of our SBDC, I should say, roundtable, which is once every month on the first Thursday of the month. Invite every client to join us. And she's also the HIA, the Hauppauge Industrial Association honoree for Rookie of the Year. So without further ado, Mollie, take us to the new electricity that's going to be coming our way.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Willa. Willa has been a wonderful champion of my new expedition into AI and marketing AI for small businesses. I am thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to be speaking about AI to small businesses because it really democratizes the landscape for all of you to compete. It is easy, it is simple, and it is not a device. It is the power to help you get ahead. So I've got a lot of material here. I'm accessible, as I said before, to everybody afterwards, any questions you have. It is not a complicated technology, although it seems like it might be. And most people who are involved in AI are more than happy to help you with it because it's an exciting time for all of us and it helps you get ahead. So I encourage everybody to pick it up, learn it safely, and I'm hoping to give you guys the tools here today to do so. So let's see. My screen sharing is paused. One of the biggest quotes you'll hear today is AI is the new electricity. It is not a device. It basically is very similar to the new industrial revolution. Just like we went to automation back in the early parts of the last century, we are moving into a new way of doing things, and it's going to change and shift all of the ways we do things, from the way we organize our business, which is currently linear, to the way we operate and interact with each other. It's going to transform how we do labor, how we interact with each other, how we organize our businesses, and we structure things. It arrived about 10 years earlier than anybody thought it would. And so it's going to not just be how we implement the technology, but how our leadership works with its teams. So businesses that miss this shift will miss the new era. It's not a box you open and give you new customers and leads. Its power lies in how you holistically implement it into businesses, into your business, not just into the technology box. And one of the biggest issues that people have been having is that they're implementing it incorrectly. They believe it's a technology that you just install in your tech room with your tech person, and it's going to magically give you leads, which is why, hang on, so I'm trying to move my slide ahead here, which is why 50% of the people who have installed it have already thrown it away. Almost 49% of businesses, actually is the actual number, have already cast aside their AI. And this is because it has to do with humans and the technology. Companies realize that their policy and their strategy have to come first, whether you're a small business implementing or a large business implementing. It has to have a plan. So we're only about 2.5 years into it, and the people who do have a plan are really pulling ahead. They're seeing 20 to 30% increase in their prediction. They're seeing massive gains in how they're operating. They're seeing, and the value that they tend to see comes not just in their efficiency, but in their growth. So when they're running their operations, they're seeing that they're gaining more wins and more progress in the marketplace. But the ones who are just installing it and not installing it correctly are not seeing the value at all and just casting it aside. So how is AI different? And I don't know if this is on here. So what's a vector, Victor? I don't know if anybody has seen this movie, but basically AI doesn't operate like search, and many people are using AI like search. Let me just move this over here.
Molly, your
Yes.
slides need to move forward. They haven't been moving forward.
Oh,
Just,
you don't see
you're
this?
still on the first slide, on the main slide.
Oh, that's odd. Okay, here, 1 second.
Okay, that's good. That's full screen. So you're,
Are you seeing it, Michael?
I didn't log on.
Okay, good. Hang on 1 second, share. Sorry, guys, hold on 1 second. Share. Well, that would be really boring. Bear with me 1 moment, everybody. Share, this one, share. And my screen. Okay, so this. I just want to double check that it's here. Okay. Oh, hang on, that's my email. Okay. Now. On my screen. Just want to make sure that I'm on Canva. Bear with me 1 more second, everybody. Just want to make sure we're working here. Applications. Applications. Turn left. Just want to make sure that this whole thing is moving. It's up on my screen and moving forward on my screen, so that's so strange. That she just was only seeing the first one.
Yeah, go to 6.
Hmm.
Okay, we moved to another slide.
Okay,
We're on the public AI exploded page.
okay, now, okay.
All right, it's moving now.
Oh, wow, I'm so sorry. All right. I'm so sorry about that. So, okay, so what's a vector vector? What's a vector vector? So basically, what's a vector vector? This is how AI operates now, and it's different than a search engine. So it works in a vector space. It looks, instead of typing something in and searching for a keyword, it looks at the meaning of the word, and it defines it in the context of how you're using it. So it would understand the principle of the word. So man and queen in relationship to royal, it understands a king would come closer to man and king would come closer to each other. It interprets the meaning of it in the context of royal. So it understands the contextual meaning of what you are inputting into the source prompt when you add your prompt into AI. So it understands your input meaning in the context of what you are saying, not necessarily in a keyword equation. So it assigns, so when AI is looking at what you are asking it to do, it's looking at it, it's looking for the context of what you are meaning. And that's a very important principle to AI, because all of the AIs operate not necessarily on the definition of a word, but the meaning of which you are trying to convey to the AI in the space. And that, the interesting part of that, and we'll get to that in a few minutes, is that all of the AIs operate very similarly across the space. So let's see. And I'll explain this a little bit better right here. So AI creates versus search fonts. So when you're working with AI and you're plugging something and you're putting an input, it's called an input into AI, it's looking to create new content. So many people are using it incorrectly, and they're just asking for things out of it, and the output will not return something as well as it will when you understand what it does. So understanding what AI does and how it operates helps you gain a better insight on the output. So AI creates, so you're looking for it to create a new subject line, for example, an email. Instead of like search, where it would just return support scripts for your email subject lines, it would help you create those email subject lines, or drafting a business plan versus pre-existing documents, or so you get the picture here. So it's a subject, social media calendars versus returning context that's already existing in its space. So it goes beyond retrieving the information, it creates the original actionable content. So here's how it does it. When you do your input, which is called a prompt, you're giving it context here. Here's a context. You're guiding it towards where it wants to go, and you're securing it with your prompt. AI then synthesizes this information together and creates an output with new meaningful insight. So when you give AI the proper blueprint, it's going to come across with better insight for you. And the better your blueprint is, the better the output is. Just plugging it in like a regular search engine, which many people do, gives it about a 50% accurate output, where giving it a very solid and good prompt, you're going to end up with about a 90% accurate output. So you're going to see a lot of people selling prompts on the internet and outside of on your LinkedIn profiles. And I always say, teach a man to fish and he'll have dinner every day. Give a man a fish and it's one night. This is a gold standard of prompting, and we call it the wiser prompt. A lot of people, there are different names for it, but basically this translates into the Python prompt as well. What you want to be doing when you're talking to AI is you want to be assigning it a role. We like to call it assisted technology and assisted intelligence, not artificial intelligence. So we want to be able to tell AI where to look. So again, I want to go back to that real quickly. We're telling it where to look for this information. We don't want it to go off and go find the answer to your broken leg or your cut or on your knee. If you're looking for medical information on Reddit or Facebook, we want it to look in something medical, for example. We don't want it to find the answer on Facebook or whatever. We want it to find a good source for that information. Or the answer to your garden issues, you want to look in a organic gardening site, for example. We want to make sure that we're pulling from good academic sources. So we want to guide it that way. So we want to tell it where to look. We wanted to ask it what to reference. So in those explanations, maybe we want to say, look up using the garden reference, look up the Gardeners Association of America. And what kind of outcome do we expect? Maybe you want it in bullet points. Tell me step by step what to do in this case scenario so that I can have this kind of outcome. So in order to do that, the wiser prompt says, who are you? What role do you want your assistant to be? So you want to tell artificial intelligence, we want you to act like a master gardener instructor. What task do you want the assistant to perform? Well, we want you to go and find the best source of instructions in order to complete this task. What is the topic? Well, perhaps it is that you have some disease on your garden leaves. What example format should the output be? Again, step-by-step instruction. And then you want to review what came out of that. One way you can review this is by taking the answer and putting it into another artificial intelligence. What do I mean by that? Perhaps you have looked at this in OpenAI or ChatGPT. You might want to take the answer and put that answer into another one like Copilot or Claude, for example, and see if it comes up with that same answer. Or maybe you have an answer that you have used earlier at another time and you prefer that answer. You can review it against that answer and see how the assistant performed this time around and say, no, I prefer this answer, and ask it to perform the task again until it gives you the proper format answer that you thought the outcome should be. So the AI ecosphere, it's growing every day. And currently there are 30 public-facing models and 330 headless models. What does that mean? A public-facing model is a model that's easily accessible to all of us. It has a GUI on the front of it. A GUI is a user interface that you can easily access as pretty much anybody. It looks like a search engine. It looks just like this. They all pretty much look just like this. What can I do for you? With some sort of bar like this, and currently they're adding things every single day. So right now, they're actually adding agents. You can sometimes add your tools. This is OpenAI. Sources, so it might have, you might be able to hook it up to your Google Drive, or if you are familiar with GitHub or some of your other tools on your desktop. This is where you might describe your task. Whether you're using ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, LeChat, Copilot, Grok. I have a warning sign next to DeepSeek because this is Chinese AI. These are all open AI models. These models are competing with each other and they're changing every single day. They offer text to speech. They offer speech to image generation. They offer text to text generation. And every day they are changing and competing to get better and better so that you can use them readily. Artificial intelligence is something that all of the nations want our businesses to be able to use because they want your businesses to improve. And that is the idea behind it. This is where you need to get good at what you do and learning how to use artificial intelligence. You need to practice your prompting in here because in doing this, you're able to mitigate the use of software as a solution. Any software you're paying for. Those are your middlemen, and they're costing your business a lot of money. By utilizing and learning how to prompt in here, you're going to be able to build websites. You're going to be able to build your own CRM solutions. You're going to be able to learn how to code. You're going to be able to learn how to do just about anything that you're paying for currently in programs safely, securely, and easily. Now, when I say securely, I want to be very clear on this because not every single one of these is secure. DeepSeek is currently not necessarily secure for Americans to be using because we are in a soft war is what they call it with them. That's a whole big well, I don't necessarily want to get into today, but when we are using AI, we can use these AIs to check to see if a tool we are using is safe or not safe. Tools are great ways to hobble into learning how to use AI. And then from this step, we want to be able to implement AI on our infrastructure. In other words, building our own systems. When we build our own systems, we're able to become agentic. And what that means, I'll explain this in a little bit more depth as we go forward. But what that means is we're able to get our entire business talking to each other in a new way that helps synthesize our progress going forward. This is the world of AI. This right here, the model UX interface, is where you're going to learn. You may have heard of a lot of different tools that you might be using. There are AI native tools, and these are born out of AI. And these are tools that work without AI, but have AI add-ons. So they work anyway, but they're enhanced by AI. Many people build tools with AI, and there are ones that are called vibe coding or MCPs, and they're pitched as agentic. And they're basically an AI tells another AI what to do. And these often operate in what's called a black box, and we don't know exactly what happens in between the time that this AI tells another AI what to do. They are all the rage. You'll see them all over LinkedIn, but they are currently not necessarily safe just yet. Having just gone to the AWS summit, I can assure you that that was the final take on these tools. How do you know if a tool is safe? It's really, really simple. You just put a tool, you just ask AI, is this tool safe? What are the policies in it for me? You can drop it right into any one of our public-facing AIs. So right now, the most important thing you can be doing is getting familiar with either ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, LeChat, Copilot, or Grok, and getting familiar with how to prompt and use them every day. 1 second. Oh, hang on 1 second. So I think this might be a good time for questions, but I can't actually see all of you. Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Like 22 people.
Yes, I'm here. Cliff.
Okay.
Everyone's here.
Still here.
So basically, that's the base, that's a bottom line. So of where we're at with AI. So where you should start and where you should start with your prompting. And now what we do is we take that AI, and this is where we're going to start to install it. It's a power, not a device. Its strength is in integration. So what you want to do with AI is you want to wire it into your business, not into select departments. It's not, let's put it into our IT. You want to choose the right tools for the specific business tasks, and you want to avoid the risks. So this is how you use it. And I know this is a big information dump, so I'm going to give you prompts to play with. I'm going to give you where to play with it. I personally am going to tell you, I like to start with OpenAI because it's the easiest, but they all work about the same. And I'm just going to go back for 1 second here just to explain the differences between that. OpenAI has the easiest interface, in my opinion. Most people use Gemini because it's Google and they like it, and they're used to Google's interface. It's fairly inexpensive. They all run about the same. Claude has a little bit more of a difficult interface, but what Claude does, and the difference between Claude, and that's from Amazon, is it allows you to take a lot of your information offline and hook into your Google Drive. So that way you have a little bit more of a security measure. LeChat works just the same. It's a European based. I'm less familiar, but it works beautifully in the few times I've used it. It's another good free option, and I use it to check these against it. Copilot is very restrictive. It's used in most business enterprises, and it's mostly used for compliance and for checking that everybody is within brand governance and making sure that everything is streamlined and aligned within corporations. Grok is very good for research, very good for reporting, media, and whatnot. So that's basically the difference, but they're changing every day, just so you know, because they're also all competing with one another. We are in a capitalist economy, and that's what happens, right? So AI is power, not a device. So here's the strengths. You want to wire your entire business eventually, because that synthesizing your business, when you think about what a business is, it's a company. Think about the word. It's a company. It's an organization. And over the years, we've become very linear. We've become very automated. We've become very siloed. We have departments. But when you really think about the word company or business or organization, even if it's small, it needs to work together in order to move forward in a market. That's actually what a brand is supposed to do. A brand is supposed to align your business, because we're so misaligned today. And now we're working in a environment where we have so much noise. It's even more important that that synthesis takes place. And AI is actually here to help solve that issue. Even if you're a small business, even if you're a 1 or 2 person business, you're now taking all of those things you do, and you need to make that alignment so very strong in order to move your business through the market. And what by that, I mean, everything you're doing and saying has to have that alignment, whether it's the header on your bills to your advertisement, to how you're speaking about your business. Your entire work and body of work has to be in alignment. So you need to wire your entire business to move through the market with that kind of power. And that AI provides you with that power. It provides you with the power that an entire corporation, an enterprise corporation has. And learning how to use this properly will help you get there. So wiring and learning how to do this properly will help you move through the market that way. So what you need to do is learn how to do this and avoid the risks in compliance while you're doing it. So you want, if you have a larger business, you want to be wiring every one of your departments with this, teaching every one of your employees and departments how to do this. If you have a smaller business, you want to start implementing this into every part of your business. So just like a house, and I like to use a metaphor of house because marketing isn't branding and advertising. Marketing is moving a business through the market. That's what true marketing is. And it's agnostic to industries and domains. So if I just use a metaphor of a house rather than a single business, it makes it a little bit more agnostic. So just like running a business, you have to run a house. A house is a sort of form of business. So I'm using that metaphor throughout this to explain that we have to implement it throughout operations. So every business has customers that come into it and out of it. And that is your customer life cycle. And there are many different departments that handle your customer life cycle and that you need to know about. So you have your marketing, your customer experience, your sales, and your accounting all are congruous with your customer life cycle. You have generative AI, sentiment AI, predictive AI, retrieval augmented generation, and agentic AI, all different types of AI that can help this part of the customer life cycle. And what they do is they help to create and understand who's coming in, who's coming out, and how long they're staying, and what's it going to take to keep them there, because it takes 9 times as much effort to get a new customer as it does to keep an old one. And we want to make sure that we're keeping those customers, those high value customers in there. So AI helps anticipate your customers' needs and reduces your churn proactively. It says, we're keeping our customers happy. We're keeping our high value customers happy, and it helps reduce the risk of losing them, and helps you understand who you should get rid of because they're costing you too much money. And that is all a function of all of those different silos across the landscape of your business, and understanding who you should go after as well. Which customers are the ones you should be targeting? So it has all of those different aspects of your business talking to one another. And it does so by tagging these different areas of your business and predicting and helping you goal set better. So it gives you a much smarter picture of your business and gives you a much better way of goal setting as you go forward. So I call this one the foyer. The office. Your administrative efficiency is part of your business. They're not just the paper pushers of your business. They are making sure you're getting your bill collection in. They're making sure you're getting your bills out. The faster you get those bills out and those bills in, and the longer time you have money on the street, they're turning those things over quickly. They're also making sure that your brand is being put out there. They're making sure that your customers are happy. They are reporting, many times are your front end people for sentiment. You can automate reporting. You can automate communication and make sure your brand governance is across. Now, there are a number of different types of AI that could go through here. Copilot, as I just mentioned before, is one of them that helps with brand governance. It can help with alignment. It can help with agile process. So to make sure that things are automated and done quickly and efficiently and effectively, so you have a handle on where your money is, where it's going, how long it's taking for you to get it back. That's a very big part of your business. And also making sure that everybody is happy and all your customers, I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you have a question? And that the communication is scheduled and generated and moving forward. And then it's the kitchen. I made marketing the kitchen because there's a lot of ingredients that obviously go into marketing. So obviously AI will help you target better. It will help you identify ideal customers and segments, interests better. It helps you measure the sentiment and know where people are and what you need to be doing and predict what you're doing. And it can automate a lot of this. So you're getting your content out there with better brand governance and help you create faster. So it supercharges your marketing. It helps you scale faster, but it helps you scale faster with a better understanding and not necessarily opinion-based marketing. It's more marketing with real insight and understanding what's going to be effective in your marketplace, who you should be looking and going after, and what's going to really help your sales turnover. Finally, your operations and supply chain. This is where you want to be careful and make sure that you're touching your CRM very carefully. This requires governance, it requires automation, and it requires security. So we want to make sure our workflow orchestration is automated, but we want to make sure that it is secure. Many people are starting with this part of the house, but this part of the house requires a lot of policy, it requires a lot of security, and it requires streamlining and a lot of thought. So making sure there's a human in the loop, making sure that we're taking care of this correctly. There's a lot of tools out here that are actually in the model context protocol area, which is where those AI agents are being installed. If you can automate this using machine learning rather than they call agent protocols, you're better off because machine learning does not use generative AI, and generative AI always opens people up for prompt injections, which tend to open your business up to hacks and fraud and exposure to fraud and different security breaches. So you want to be very careful with this area, but it's also a very important area because it helps bring new business in. So we want to look at LangGraph, we want to look at crew, agents, and MCPs. And in this instance, you probably do want to look at having somebody who really knows what they're doing when it comes to installing your AI. Interestingly enough, that's the area that most people aren't. So installing AI at the infrastructure. Hang on, go back one. Why am I not going back one? Doesn't like the slide, sorry guys. Huh. So when you get, sorry, I don't know why this is not going. I'm going to skip this slide in a second. So once you get a handle, and a good place to start is to teach everybody in their different departments, or start with a single department. Marketing is a good one to start with, customer sentiment, because it's an easy one. It takes a lot of work off your plate. I'm not saying it just because I'm biased, but I feel like it's one of those things that needs to be done. You're fairly safe in that space, but starting with one department, learning how to prompt in it, getting your brand governance down, and then moving to the different areas, looking for that repeatable area, and then moving to a different department or a different area of your business. If you have a larger business, teaching each department, and then mapping them all together. Moving to your infrastructure. Why do you want to move to your infrastructure? You want to move to your infrastructure and have your AIs talking to each other, because AI then becomes agentic. Each department talking to each other and helping each other forms a comprehensive and integrated strategy. AI on talking to the AI on your infrastructure is safer than talking to it in the public space. AI will then become more predictive, more analytic, and work within your own space to predict and analyze your business. And that is where it becomes powerful. Now, this doesn't cost a lot, even for a one-person business. There are tools out there like GPT-4U, which I believe is even free, which can be installed on your computer system as you learn how to do this. In 2 to 3 years, NVIDIA expects all small business owners to have their own GPTs on their own infrastructure at about $3,000 a person. So this shift is more than here. It's ongoing and happening. People are installing this now. And if you are ahead of the curve, you will be ahead of your competition. So let me see if this slide will actually move on. So how do you start aligning yourself? AI is an accelerator. So you don't want to accelerate chaos. You want to start with a clear strategy, as I said at the beginning of this presentation. So you want to start by aligning on your goals. Align on the shared goals of each department and align on the strategies. I like to start by your original vision. You want to say, what was my original vision? What is my true value and original vision of my company? What did I set out to do? Make it unique. Put blinders onto the competition and remember what was your true reason for being. Then you want to implement the strategies and not think so much about the silos. What are the strategies of the mission that are going to move you forward? And then you want to lead with that direction and clarity. And then once we're there, you iterate. That's where you have your retrieval, augmentative, and generative process. That's when we scale, and that's when the real AI takes place. Even in the first year, people installing at this level are seeing 20 to 30% gains. That's when the true value of AI comes into play. So that's how the whole house works together. Think before we practice a prompt, and I have a bunch of prompts to give you guys to practice. This is my QR code. It puts you in direct contact with me. It's a little bit of a jot. It's a jot form, so I will say I don't spam. It's not a list. If you'd like my information, it's there. I'm on LinkedIn here, and let me just. I'll take some questions if you want now, and then I'll show you the prompts, some of the prompts that I've put together. So you want to start with some questions before the prompts, or what do you want to do? Well, now that I can see you all, I had to do that completely blind without seeing anybody's faces. So I'm really sorry. I got a little bit,
We don't have any questions in the chat at the moment. Does anybody out there have any questions? We can unmute. You can unmute and speak.
Yeah, I'd be happy to ask you a question on that one. So, Molly, what this seems like, so one, does AI or assisting intelligence, I like that better than artificial. So this becomes, it knows me then, right? If it seems like I'm developing a relationship with this, call it entity, correct?
yes, mine is called Steve, as you know, because but you do start to develop a relationship with it. The public AIs their memory is not as long, so it's a mock relationship. It doesn't truly, if you put it on your on an agentic system that's yours, like a GPT for you, it will actually become your AI, and it will continue. The ones that are public are not actually a true long-standing predictive model. So it mocks it, but in other words, it to a degree, but if you actually have like a GPT for you or your own AI installed, it will have a long-term, long-standing relationship with your data.
Right. Because I find that interesting from the branding standpoint. Because if it gets to know me, the business, I read it, my mission statement, and we go from there. You know, now it's a safe person to talk to or a safe entity to talk to, you know, with no
It-
real repercussions. And I guess you could always fire it if need be.
On your own system it is.
On
And
my
it
own
is
system.
fairly
Right.
safe. It is fairly safe on public, and it will recall to a certain degree, but it will never reach the agentic state on it will mirror it, and seemingly it feels like it is on the public AIs, and it will do so to a degree, but it will never reach the same quantum level of prediction on the public AIs.
Okay, you know, fair enough, right? And if the business justifies it, then it certainly makes sense. So what I'm getting gray about, we'll say, is the difference between a search engine and then this. So for framework, I'm promoting the idea, I'm advocating the idea for a permanent motorsports park on Long Island. So what I'm looking to do is to find other small tracks around the country that have done studies talking about the economic impact or safety impact it's had with newer drivers in their area. So is that something I'm searching for or to use AI for?
You could use AI for it. I would use AI for it. I would use personally for research. I like Grok, but I would use them both. Use more than one. I have an AI stack. Many people have an AI stack. You can and then honestly, as you get better, as you get better at AI, and that's where the beauty comes in. You can actually learn how to code and build each research. So because you have a dedicated thing that you're searching for, what I would, if you were to search all the time, Brian, you would start to learn how to search for this in code. So you would say, I want to know more and more. Please keep telling me more about the many ones that are coming up, not a one-shot deal. Like, so please fill me in on all the new racetracks coming in on Long Island and elsewhere in the United States. And it would tell you every day the new ones coming up. You could even create a short generative, if I share my screen, when I share my screen, I'll show you the GPTs. But you could even create a short GPT that would continually look for that.
So that becomes the difference between searching for something or using the AI. So if I'm searching for something, it's one and done. The AI can be more continuous.
Right. And you could
Okay.
even alert it to say, please tell me all the alerts for something new coming up, on all the alerts for news, even on those tracks.
Yeah. So I've used Google alerts for stuff.
But it'll give you and filter them in and give it to you in the content you want. So one of the things I'm going to give you guys today, if with the jot form, or even I think I can upload it into the chat, is I'm going to give you the prompts for I have prompts laid out for each of the departments to give everybody, but I also have an agentic prompt, and the agentic prompt, and I know, can you still see my screen?
We should be able to. Can you share your screen?
See. So, share. So this is my chat. And like I said, I'm using ChatGPT for the simple reason that, let me see here. Can you see, you can see it? I just want to make sure everybody can see it. No.
I can see ChatGPT.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so you can see ChatGPT, and for the reason, in here you have your GPTs are up here, right? And they have there are many that are designed already, by the way. And I like ChatGPT again because it's got the best user interface. You can have your different, I have GPTs that are designed already in here. So you have research analysis, productivity, writing, lifestyle, all these are already created for you. These are like small tools, and anything in here is fairly safe to use. Because it's inside of OpenAI. And that's the difference. On the outside of OpenAI, something just on the internet, you're already outside the sandbox of it. So in here, I have projects that I'm working on. And then in here, I just have my one-shot deals. So sometimes like I'm just talking to it all day long because I talk to it all day long, right? So, and then I create my own things on the outside. But here I have my role, which you're going to get all of this. This is an agentic role, and I have already created the shots for the kitchen, the foyer, the office, and I ran different programs for it. But this is what an agentic one would look like after I have created the prompts for marketing, office, and all of the different management areas. And I'm going to give you the prompts for each of those areas today as well. So, but this is what the business strategist prompt would look like. It says, you are a business strategist, review the following department goal, bottlenecks, and tools, and what their goals were. So basically, these were the outcomes. This is synthetic data, of course, but it said, reduce the churn by 10%. No, and it had the CRM subscribers, and it's had in marketing, it said increase lead generation by 20%, increase content creation, and all of this. So basically it says, and then it's asking for the output here, show specific actions and sequence them logically like an agent. So I gave it the role, I gave it everything. You're going to get this prompt in the prompt sheet. So here's a cross-silo agent action plan that connects all 5 prompts, departments, and aligns our efforts and builds iterative feedback loops to hit the shared goals. I'll structure it like a multi-step workflow. Step 1, align centralized data. Now it says it like this, right? Connect CRM, and it tells you exactly what to do. This is a difference, right? It tells you how to do it. Now this is very convoluted, and I don't like it structured like this. So I might say, please provide this in an OKR table. So I like an OKR table because it's objections and key results, right? So I'm asking it to give it to me in a table format instead because it's easier for me to follow. So these are the different things I want to do, and it tells me exactly how to do it in a much easier way to see, right? So from just the prompts, this is what the agentic does when you add it all together to give you what the expectations are when you put all of your departments together. So it expects to reduce the churn by 10%, increase the qualified leads by 20%, manual reporting workload by 30%, on-time shipments. Now, if I can figure out how to give you the prompts, I'm going to give you the prompt worksheet, which is, okay, 1 second. I will put in the chat for everybody if I can figure that part out. And this is for, and these are simple prompts that were put into each. I'll show you the prompts. The different prompts. I don't want you guys to feel like you have to Let's see the shared screen. So I want to give you guys a prompts to get all this. So well, I'm trying to figure out how I can give that to you in the
Well,
chat.
we might be able to send it to everyone after if you
Okay.
can't find it now. But Molly, a lot of this seems very technical to me, and as someone who's not a technician type person, how would the average small business that doesn't have this kind of background? I mean, obviously, AI consultants like yourself are important now to small businesses to try to integrate this into their business. So when you meet with a small business and they say, okay, I want to use AI, how do we go about doing that? What kind of recommendations do you do? How do you map that out for someone? Because business owners are very busy and they don't have time to learn all that technology. They just want to be the user, right? So tell me about some of the questions you ask an owner to decide how you're going to do that, and what kind of AI tools would you put into a small business? Let's call it let's start with maybe a retail store. If
I
I'm
think
a
it's
retail store.
I think you start with it. I think I always start with the strategy of the ASLI, which is what I ended on. And the reason being is you want to start with aligning on their goals. And then we want because they often you get busy. AI helps to ensure that you're not working on you're working in your business, not on your business. What were your goals to start with? And business owners are often so busy doing all this busy work. And then we start with, and like I said, I like to start with OpenAI's ChatGPT because it's the simplest interface. There are lots of other ones, but it is the simplest one to use. And I don't work for them. It just is the simplest. And then they can move on to whichever one they want, but I just find it's an easy interface. Then you start with that golden prompt, the wiser prompt. So I have the each different one for each different area. So the customer life cycle. You look at the wiser prompt and they'll get each one of these. So if you're in the customer life cycle, you are a customer lifestyle strategist. That's a role. Review the customer lifestyle goals and data provided. So basically they would look at the lifestyle goals, identify which customers are at risk, propose personal outreach strategies, and show how these efforts can feed insights into marketing, sales, and operations. That's your instructions. Provide specific actions, timelines, and measurable churn reduction targets. That's the subject matter. So that's what we would do for the lifestyle. That's what we do for churn. So I would go by whichever their pain point is, and we'd start with one. Then we go to the next one. Then we go to the next one. So it depends which room we're starting with, but teaching them the wiser prompt, which is who is the assistant? Start with the pain point. What's the instructions? And just start playing with it every single day. And also just opening it up because it's a safe space, and start talking to it, learning how to, my job is to teach them how to use the prompts. Their job is to open it up and talk to it, brainstorm and talk to it. And you and I have had, Willa and I have had this conversation in SBA many times. Just talk to it. And my job as a consultant is to come in and say, okay, how did that prompt go? Did that prompt go well? Let's figure this out. What went wrong? What went right? Are we tagging our knowledge correctly? Are we being safe with our compliance? Are we, did we get this correct? What, did this work? So basically it's one prompt at a time. figure it out and refine it. One prompt at a time, figure it out and refine it. And so they're going, like I said, you're going to get all of these prompts for marketing, lifestyle, finance, running the house. Try it again. Try it, refine it. That's what the review is. Who instructions, subset of instructions, examples, review. Try it again. Run it again until it works. Tweak it. Run it again until it works. And then ask it. It's your assistant. The idea of AI is that it's your assistant, it's your friend. What went wrong? Ask it. Don't ask me, ask it. It's there to give you the answers. It's not a wall. You don't need me, you actually need it. It will tell you. How can I improve this prompt? You don't have to go look for that answer on the internet. The answer's there. Name it. One of my favorite classes is the first one I teach, which is how to create the voice. Let's name it. Let's talk to it. Let's make it your friend. Which is a little weird, I know, but and some people
No,
take
it
it
is-
really too far, but it's
Right.
really important.
It does get to know you over time and who you are and what, you got to be careful though about what you're putting out there, right? Have you
Right.
talked about the ethical part of it and using
Yeah.
that information?
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, I think it's sad that people are so lonely and that the number one thing it is used for is companionship. But I do think it's also good too that sometimes people can't talk to people, but I guess, but it is important to know that it's not a search engine that's just going to return to you dead answers. It's going to work with you. It's assisted technology. It's going to, this went wrong. What could I do better? This went wrong. This isn't returning the issue. This isn't returning what I needed to return. Open up the voice. Talk to it. Take a screenshot. This happened. It's multimodal. It can see what you're doing if you let it, if you open it up, as long as you're in those safe zones we talked about earlier. Let it see what you're doing. And I think that's the main difference. It's almost, I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost alive. It's meant to converse with you. It's meant to operate with you. It's meant to assist you. It's meant to help you as a business owner. They want you to utilize this, meaning the data scientists who created this want you to utilize this for the benefit of your business. They want you to get good at it. They want you to utilize it so your business succeeds.
Molly, we did have something in the chat. August says, even the free, open, public-facing AI engines have tiered subscription levels for
Yes.
more data-heavy generative functions. What are the range of costs that somebody could expect in those higher-level subscriptions?
I don't recommend doing anything more than the $20 subscription. They all are about the same. The $20 one is just fine if you learn how to prompt correctly, and you only need one prompt. It is the wiser prompt. It's the golden prompt. There's other people call it other things, but if you look at Python it tells you that exact thing. Assign the user. You are the user. It is the assistant. It's actually called the assistant in Python. You are called the user. It's called the assistant. You are assigning it a role and giving it instructions. You tell it where to go. You tell it what to do. And so it was actually Allie Miller, who is a Amazon, LinkedIn influencer who I had first heard Wiser from. It's easy to remember. It sounds good, the Wiser prompt, and it works very well. Who, instructions, subject, example, review, and the review, because there's lots of reasons for an AI to hallucinate, and that's it. Review it here, review it with another AI. And I feel that that's the golden prompt, and practice. When I first started AI, I opened up the voice and started talking into it. And that was it. Just start talking to it and then practice your prompts when you're doing something for business. But on a day-to-day, talk into it. Hey, I have these 20 problems I need to solve in my business. I'm really good at X, Y, and Z, but I have these 20 problems. Can you help me? Brainstorm into it. You don't even, they're that good. You don't even need to do the wiser prompt unless you're really trying to solve a hard problem. But the practice part gets you comfortable with it. The brainstorming gets you comfortable with it. Solving a real problem for your business, use a wiser prompt, sit down with it, solve the problem correctly, try it again, utilize the other LLM to check it. $20 gets you pretty much, and get two and figure out which ones you need. If you were doing a lot of research and using a lot of media, I would suggest Grok. If you're doing, I definitely think that OpenAI is good because there's a lot of money behind it right now. And it's easy. You can create lots of automations as well.
Great. So, you know, I mean, I totally, you know, I'm on board with it. I use it all the time, probably every day, and explore it and find new ways to use it every day. And we thank you very much, Mollie, for coming and sharing your expertise, and invite other people. Mollie is a member of our roundtable. I think I said that. That's on the first Thursday of every month for our clients. So she comes and we talk a lot about AI in the roundtable and try to bring it down to whatever people are trying to use it for. But it is generative, and it communicates with you, and it's something I think people are afraid of a little bit, because they're afraid of how much how good it really is. But once you start using it, you really start to incorporate it, and it's a partner. I call it my thought partner. And I think that's how you have, don't be afraid of it. It's not going to take over your life, hopefully. We'll see where it goes, but it's not going away. So that's important to remember, that everybody is using it, and they see the reason why it's moving so quickly, because it's very effective. And I just want to thank you. We're going to wrap up the workshop, and thank you very much for, if you want to put your slide up with your contact information or the QR code that you had. And everyone that is on, Leslie put in the chat that there will be a survey after this ends. So we appreciate it if you could fill that out. We're always trying to bring content and presenters that is helpful to you and your small businesses. We thank you for joining us today, and we hope you'll join us at another workshop. Just so you know, all workshops that are taped are on our website, and we have a catalog of all the workshops in the past as well as this one. So we appreciate all of our presenters donating their time to help our small businesses. And if you need somebody that's an AI consultant, this is why Mollie is here, so you know who she is, and you can reach out to her directly. Thank you very much.
I'll give everybody the prompts too to practice, and then you can just run them, and you'll see they're a lot simpler than they sound.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Bye.
ladies.